Hey guys! Today's lesson is going to be a review lesson on system of equations so that you can complete today's Fire Friday. A system of linear equations has two equations and two variables. And these two linear equations share a point, and that point is called the solution. So again, there's two equations, two variables. They share a point, and that point is called the solution. My first example is going to be finding the solution to a linear system of equations graphically. The word graphically means I have to make a graph. So my first equation is y equals negative x plus 4. So I'm going to my y-intercept of 4. My slope is negative 1x, so I'm going down 1 over 1. I'm going to draw my line. And that's my first linear equation. My second linear equation is y equals 3/4 x minus 3. So my y-intercept is negative 3. And my slope is up 3 over 4. When I draw that second linear equation, I notice that the lines intersect at the point 4, 0. So the solution to this linear equation is 4, 0. Now in this example, we have to find the solution algebraically. So instead of making a graph, we have to use algebra. My linear equations are y equals 2x minus 3 and y equals negative x plus 6. So I notice that both of these equations are set equal to y, and I know that the solution is when the two lines meet. Well, if the two lines meet, which means they intersect, they have to be equal to each other. So I can set the first equation equal to the second equation. And then we're going to solve like we typically solve. You already know how to solve linear equations. This is not new. Plus x on both sides. 3x minus 3 equals 6. The inverse of negative 3 is plus 3. And the inverse of multiplication is division. X equals 3. Am I done? No, I'm not done because the solution has to be a point. So I have to take this x value and plug it back into either equation. I'm going to use the top equation. Y equals 2x minus 3. I'm substituting in the x value of 3. So I have y is equal to 2 times 3, which is 6, minus 3, which is 3. So my final solution is x equals 3 and y equals 3, which is the point 3, 3. That is the point where my two lines intersect. Our last example is another example of solving algebraically. Our directions read, find the solution algebraically. And this time I don't have y equals and y equals. This is my system. 2x plus 3y equals 13, and 4x minus y equals 5. I'm going to start by making sure I see all my coefficients. I inputted a 1 because there's an imaginary 1 in front of the y. When I notice that I have my x variable lined up and my y variable lined up, this makes me think of elimination. In order to eliminate a variable, the coefficients have to be the same so that I can subtract them. 2 minus 2 is 0. Or my coefficients can be opposites like negative 2 and positive 2, and I can add them because negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So the goal here is to get the coefficients to either be exactly the same or opposite signs. I'm going to multiply my first equation by 2 because I want this 2x to be a 4x. So I'm going to distribute the 2 to everything, and I'm going to get 2 times 2x is 4x, 2 times 3y is 6y, and 2 times 13 is 26. So this is now the system of equations that I'm going to be working with. And I noticed that 4x and 4x are exactly the same. And if I use subtraction, my 4x minus 4x will be eliminated. So I draw my big subtraction sign and I begin to subtract. 4x minus 4x, 0. Negative 1 minus 6, negative 1 minus 6, negative 7y. 5 minus 26, 5 minus 26, negative 21. Now that my x's are eliminated, I can solve for y. The inverse of negative 7 times y is division. So I divide by negative 7 on both sides, and y equals 3. I'm not done yet because I know that my solution is a point. So I'm going to take this y value and I'm going to substitute it back into the first equation. You can use either equation, but I like using the first one. My first equation was 2x plus 3y equals 13. I'm substituting in y equals 3. So 2 times x plus 3 times 3 equals 13. And now I'm going to finish solving. So I'm subtracting 9 from both sides, and I'm going to move over here. The inverse of 2 times x is division. Divide by 2. X equals 2. So my final solution is the point 2, 3. And I'll just write that right there, box it, and I'm good to go. Now you are going to solve the 7 multiple choice questions for your Fire Friday. You have until midnight to submit this assignment. And if you need any help, give me a call. We can FaceTime or text.